Welcome to this bonus clip where I teach you everything on how to be interviewed online. There's 4 things I'd like to take you through. Number 1 is the technology. Please use your desktop or your laptop and not your mobile device. The quality of the interview will be that much more stronger. Number 2 is to run some tests beforehand. Check your system, double check the links, make sure that your internet connection is strong, and you close down any other application so you're only running the software that's needed for your online interview. Don't apologize if things go wrong with the software. Remember that you're being interviewed for your position and you don't want to be coming across as a complainer or whiner or someone who's incompetent to use a link. Ask the person beforehand, what is the format of this interview? Is it only going to be audio? Is it going to be audio and video? Is it a pre-recorded interview where they send you a list of questions and you upload that final video to a system? And also, if you're having any technical difficulties, ask the person who do you contact in case you need some assistance. And then finally, with technology, find out what is the actual system that you'll be using. Is it Google Hangouts? Is it Skype? Is it MS Teams? Is it Zoom? Is it something else? And then maybe what you could do beforehand, you could find out something about the system, run some tests yourself, and get comfortable and familiar with that actual software. This is the first section on how to run your online interviews, which deals with technology. Let's now look at how to set up your environment. In terms of your environment, choose a small chair. You don't want to be seen on video where you have a very big chair and you're sort of hunched into the chair, or the actual chair itself is taking up the bulk of the screen space. Choose a chair that has no creaking sound every time you move. Once you get seated in the chair, sit there, stay still. Don't fidget and move from one position to the other. It comes across as being distracting to your audience. In terms of your background, keep your background nice and clean because that's what your audience will be seeing through the online interview. So avoid having dirty linen on the side, or maybe it's an untidy room, or maybe it's a pin-up poster of your favorite celebrity. Keep it nice and neutral, nice and clean. A clean, neutral background, light colors looks good on video. In terms of your background, also avoid those virtual backgrounds because it can be a bit distracting, and then depending on who's interviewing you, they might see some bias into whatever virtual background you are choosing. So keep everything nice and neutral. Eliminate distractions. Close the doors, close the windows. Keep pets and kids away from your interview and have a distraction-free environment as far as possible. Natural light is important, so if you can, sit near a window to have natural light so that you are as vibrant and radiant as possible. If not, have a light that's shining into your face to avoid that shadowy look. Avoid lights that's shining above your head or from behind you, as it creates a weird glow and doesn't look good on video. Put your phone on silent and mute any other sounds, computer sounds, where your email pings or other messages come through, and that will allow you to set up your environment to be distraction-free as possible. Now I want to look at the actual interview and what you should consider when it comes to online interviews. For your actual interview, you want to figure out if it's a live interview or a recorded interview. If it's a live interview, you continue with the interview as if you were doing this live, face-to-face. If it's going to be a recorded interview, find out in advance, will there be questions on the screen that then you respond to? How many attempts do you have at responding to those questions? What's the time limit per question? And again, these are some of the considerations that you need to have in advance so that mentally you are prepared when you get into that online interview. Number 2, you could also have an online assessment in addition to the actual interview. So what companies could be doing is doing 2 processes at once, interview plus an online assessment. And that online assessment could be like a personality assessment or almost like a psychometric assessment that's done online. Number 3 is aids. For the actual interview, wear earphones or a headset. It helps with the audio quality. Have your own list of questions on hand that you want to ask the interviewer. Have a summary sheet, because you could have this in front of you just on the side, because it's already stressful enough to do an interview online, and there's a tendency of forgetting your content. So just have a set of experience, background, stories that you really want to share, and have that on the side next to your laptop, so you know during the interview you need to find a place or a time or an appropriate response to a question where you actually mention those things, and you make sure that that comes through in your interview. And finally, for the actual interview, depending on where you're being interviewed, there could be a time zone difference. So make sure that you get the time zone locked in right, and so you're not late for your interview. Finally, in the last section of this video series, let's look at what does not change when it comes to online interviews. Finally, let's look at what does not change between online interviews and live interviews. What does not change is how you dress. You still need to dress up for an interview, head to toe, including the shoes, because psychologically, it gives you a boost of confidence. Have plain colored clothes, avoid the stripes, avoid the pattern looks, because it does not come out very nicely on video, and especially avoid the bright colors. Number 2, have on hand some water, your notepad, a pen, the questions that you want to ask, any supporting documentation that you feel you might need that will aid your discussion, and your summary page that includes the key highlights of your experience that you would like to share, and you want to make sure that you don't forget to say those things. Number 3, practice answering questions in an interview. So go back to the earlier parts of this course where I taught you how to answer questions, whether it's simple, straightforward questions, whether it's competency-based questions, whether it's hypothetical questions, and have a response to as many of those questions as possible. You would remember I gave you a downloadable 300 questions that could be asked in an interview. That's what I mean. Practice those questions relative to the role that you are applying for and the skills and the traits that are being assessed. Number 4, ensure engagement. So, hand gestures can be a bit difficult to use, because if you are gesturing and you're gesturing towards the lens of your desktop or your laptop, it comes across as being weird. So if you are using hand gestures, keep your hand gestures closer to your body, so then it doesn't come out as being, this big look to the camera lens. With eye contact, make sure that you're looking at the lens of your laptop or your desktop, because then it'll seem as if you're looking directly at the interviewer. And every now and then, nod your head, smile. It helps to show engagement. Finally, like an interview live, arrive early, at least 15 minutes to 30 minutes early, just to double check everything. I know you might have double checked everything the night before, but just arrive early. It gives you a sense of composure, a sense of calmness, and in that time, mentally, you're going to be prepared for your online interview. That's it. That's all I want to share with you in terms of having your online interview. Remember, online interview is just a different format. Instead of live, it's online. You still need to show up. You still need to market yourself. You still need to be able to show your confidence and answer the questions fully. You still need to be engaging, and that really comes from your energy. So your energy state needs to resonate through this online interview. So avoid being, hi, my name is, and so you must have your body posture upright. Your voice must be projected, and show this enthusiasm, like it must resonate through this online interview, just as it would resonate in a live one-on-one interview. That concludes this course on helping you to become more confident on interviews. I've given you everything that you need in order to know how to prepare for an interview, know how to answer questions, know the different types of formats, know how to be mentally strong for an interview. All you have to do now is to go and practice, rehearse, prepare, and be your confident best at interviews. I wish you much success in your upcoming interview. And if you can, find me on LinkedIn or my social media pages and let me know how it goes. All the best to you.